was just been doing a bunch of stuff, and it's about, I think it's close to 4 o'clock here, and I don't know why, but I had a sudden urge to jump on and with a coffee. Yeah, 4 o'clock coffee. Got a big night tonight, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about building an online presence because I seem to be receiving more inquiry from people about about building an online presence or social media in general. And I thought, this is it's a little bit off the main topic of the channel, but not really as well. Like because many of you who are becoming practices will see or maybe find that you have a calling to, I guess, put yourselves out there. And so, you know, we're all here to help each other out, right? And so I thought, well, if anyone wants to show up and ask any questions, go for it. But otherwise, I'll just give a little bit of a monologue on some of the things that I've come across that have been useful and valuable, and also some other things that maybe haven't worked out so well. And I've got no prepared list here. I was just going to talk. So, one thing that is definitely uh, valuable on this journey of building a presence is, choosing platforms that you enjoy, talking about things you enjoy. This doesn't have to be only about, hermetics and meditation and so forth. This could be any area of interest. But I'm just going to talk about it, you know, where I've come from and where this is going. Where it's at. And so, yeah, I wanted to just share that, I've tried. Well, I've been active on several platforms and just trialing the water. And something that I've found to be, valuable to share is that you've got to try a whole bunch of stuff, and you've got to be fairly consistent. I mean, if your subscriber numbers are a valuable metric, let's just say they are, and they kind of are. They're not unhelpful, that's for sure, but they're not necessarily reflective of you know I guess some kind of tangible kind of success in the real world. It's but what it is that you have essentially a network of people who have gone, okay, well, I've liked some of this stuff, I want to see what else comes out, so they'll hit the go button, the subscribe button. Awesome. Awesome. And that number will slowly build over time, and it'll go up and it'll go down a bit and it'll go up and it'll go down, and that's fine. you know that's just the nature of it. And but if I was going to compare some graphs, and I've got to do some housework on the analytics, or some recon, I guess, as you might say, and that is, seeing, the upload consistency, like the points on the timeline where um, videos were uploaded or lives were cast, and then where the surges in the subscriber numbers, where the building occurred. If we use subscribers as a type of a sort of a metric, a cumulative one. Yes, there's views as well, but those don't always directly relate to anything that's useful too. And so, you know, the what I've noticed is that number one, um, you just get onto YouTube, okay, and you want to, in my view, you want to have something outside of YouTube as well. Definitely a short form content site like a Facebook, although I don't really rate Facebook. It's good, all your mates will be on there, and there'll be lots of groups on there. It's a good place for posting in groups, because pretty much everyone's on Facebook. But it's also, even though they're saying they're not censoring, they are censoring. So, and it's not that reliable, but you just do it anyway. Facebook's just one of the ones that you do anyway. And the other one, yeah, definitely YouTube. Depending on what you're talking about, like you got to remember that, depending on which platform you're on, they're going to have different rules. And uh, you know, don't forget too, you're making stuff on their platform, and they win essentially because they're just hosting a platform, and you're putting stuff on there to, you know, to keep them alive and well. Whether or not you benefit from it, that's why it can be a bit of a slog. And yeah, so you're making stuff, you're putting it on one of these platforms, and by all means, there's plenty of other ones too. There's Odyssey and Rumble and BitChute and that, and there's big audiences on there too. I'm talking about video platforms here, and and Substack too. I'm on Substack, and Substack has become a video platform of sorts as well. It's not a direct sort of parallel, if you will, to YouTube, but it's functional, and you can watch and listen to stuff without ads and turn your phone screen off and things like that. So there's but really, YouTube is a good one, especially if you're going to make video content. It's just 2 billion people a day sign into YouTube from the last time I checked, and it's just where everyone is. And like I said, they're going to be monitoring what you say and what you put up on the screen and what music you play and that too. So until you oh, hey Cam, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us. Until you kind of get your feet wet a bit and try some stuff out, you're gonna kind of know uh, the stuff that does well, and a lot of that's going to be dictated by um, the things like words you use and words you say. And Cam, we're talking about. I should have come up on the thing. Basically, I'm talking about building social media presence and online presence. So this is a bit off topic from Hermetics and that, but I've been having a few people reach out, so I thought I'd make just a bit of a video on it. So I might just turn these comments off for now. Hit me up with your, like, I'll come back to the comments, guys, and answer your questions in a bit. It's just that if I leave them on, I get a bit distracted. So thank you. But yeah, put your comments in, and I'll answer the questions towards the end. And then if you come back later, if you don't want to watch it now, come back later. Scroll towards the end, and I'll get to the questions in the chat. So YouTube is it's going to take some work. You've got to set it up, and you're going to have to do the back office stuff, like all the setting up the back end. And there's plenty of people talking about that stuff. You want to think about things like how do you want to come across in the form of your graphics and all that. But that's outside of the point. I'm really just wanting to talk about strategies for building, even slightly outside of aesthetics. So let's say, this is what I've done. I've done this a couple of times, and it works great. You find a thing that you're interested in, you start up a channel, and then you start making some content, right? Okay. And then, you share it with your friends, and you find relevant Facebook groups, and you post it in there, and you'll either be accepted or you're not. Sometimes you're going to get kicked out of that Facebook group, and that's just how it is. Sometimes they don't like you posting things if it's, and maybe someone will say that's not related, or this is someone's created a group just for themselves, whatever. There's lots of groups out there, and you just put stuff in there, and over time you find that you don't need to do it as much, but you just need to get some eyes on to build a few numbers up to get some subs. And what I did is that I uploaded a bunch of just I like uploading all sorts of stuff. This is becoming less of a niche channel and more of a, I guess, if I use the term personal brand, I guess, uh, I know what I'm into, and I like talking about those things and sharing things. But also, I have some of my own unique views on things that I'll weave in, and I'll attempt to connect the relevance to the main topic of material, because this is, I guess, it's one thing to niche down on a topic, and then there's sort of like the lifestyle that revolves around it as you know as we go. And I think a great way to look at this is that you yourself are the niche essentially. You are a unique person, and you have a set of life experiences and ways of seeing the world that can be delivered with a certain style and personality and character. The more you can relax, just like when you learn to play an instrument, the more you can relax, just like you're doing Tai Chi, the more you can relax, the more naturalness tends to emerge. And you'll find confidence in that, you know. And if you haven't had any experience public speaking, this is a great way to do it. The more you do it, the easier it gets. That's it. You know, it's like anything. You know, and you find ways of I guess, lubricating the stream, if you will, of consciousness that comes through. So now, I just want to have a sip of my coffee. Thank you. I trust you guys are well, and don't forget, like I said, I haven't got the comments active because I want to just talk for a bit and then I'll open them up. But essentially, you know, I made a few videos. I made a bunch of random videos. Like I made some nature videos, and I went for some walks and things, and got some cool stuff on there. You know, I've got like a bird eating out of my hand, and there's another one with a rock, a piece of obsidian that I found next to my training area. And these are kind of quite fun curiosities to share. But where I sort of identified, and it was funny because I have another channel from years ago, and it was more, I guess, it was during the lockdowns, and I wasn't happy, so about things, and I wanted to talk. I wanted to have some salty conversations, and we certainly did. But it sort of bridged into other topics too. You know, it was more of an open-ended kind of situation, and yeah, it was fun. But what I found is that one of the best ways to build your audience, because this is what we're doing here, right? We want to build an audience. Start, you know, finding a group of people. This is like running a business, you know, but it's not. You're just finding out, you know, like it's like as a musician, you know, would you want to play to an empty room? You know, that's a thing, right? You know, whether you're getting paid or not, you show up and you want to play and you want to see people having a good time and enjoying things, right? And there are indicators of how that may be represented. Now, so you know, the more your subscriber numbers climb, the you're going to start seeing metrics and things that are quite satisfying and curious. It's like, you know, back in the day when I was a young fella, I used to enjoy playing cricket, and one of the fun things about cricket was all the stats, right? But you know, one pretty much surefire way to accelerate your audience growth in a social media environment, especially say on YouTube, well, two ways actually, but definitely number one is to build a body of content. Doesn't have to be too much, but it has to be enough to show, you know, kind of who you are and what you're about and all that. But also, you know, once you've done that, then you go and start approaching other people who have got, you know, maybe hundreds of subscribers, someone who's kind of in your region, I guess, you know, like of the topic and also the number of subscribers. Like if I'm a nobody with 5 subscribers and I go hit up someone with 100,000 subscribers for a conversation, like a live or a pre-recorded interview or something, I might not, you know, I might I might get lucky, but uh, you know, it's they're probably not going to. Whereas if I go and hit someone up who's got maybe a couple of hundred subscribers, you know, I would probably want to have more than 5 subscribers. I'd probably want to have, you know, 50 to 100 or something like that. I'll go and hit someone up around the same sort of range, and we'll have a conversation, and essentially we end up stealing each other's audiences. You know, and so you know, this is a great way to start building up the numbers because people from the person you're interviewing, their channel is going to see you, and your people are going to see them, and then you know everyone's hitting subscribe buttons hopefully, and yeah, the numbers start to grow. Magic. Now, Once you sort of like step into that realm and start reaching out to people, and some people are just, you're going to get yeses, you're going to get nos, and you're going to get no replies. And but you just you're doing it because you want to talk to people about the thing that you're interested in, and you find people who are on the same page, maybe for whatever reason, like maybe you like their style. Um, some people just like some people have been doing this for a while. They want to know someone before they connect with them. And like I said, this is why you build up a body of your own content first, so people can scan it and go, oh yeah, this guy's all right. Yeah, I'm keen to go on his channel. I generally don't have people on my channel unless they've got a body of content. I'm kind of keen to promote people who are, or have people on the channel that are active in the community, who are putting themselves out there and creating stuff on their own. That's pretty much the only prerequisite. It's got to be relevant, and they've got to be nice people, and they've got to have some work already. You know, and that's pretty much it. Like anyone can start doing it. And I know a lot of you guys want to help. You want to help to bake the bread for everybody, whether it's the Barden bread or whether it's the just magic meditation yoga at large, whatever you want. So you just start off making stuff. You get a body of content that, so when you reach out to other people who you might want to have on your channel, whether it's a pre-record or a live, people can check out and go, he's a good dude, I want to come on the channel. Sweet. So another valuable approach is to consider doing regular live streams, because what I've found is that being able to connect with people in real time, and to be able to have back and forth conversations. Like when I'm downstairs and I'm doing the live streams in the studio with the backdrop, and can do the screen share and all that type of thing. That's very cool. Like we can have a very interactive experience. And yes, they will be back very soon. I've got a new computer. Well, it's not a new one. A friend is lending me one, and it's opened some new doors. And so for the time that I have that, I want to use that to sort of help to create some more cool stuff. But the lives, this is more of a personal thing. I've just found the live streams to be really fun, because people from the community show up, and it's like hanging out at the dojo. Like there's a lot of experienced practices who are. It's quite bright, isn't it? See if I can just change that a bit. Can I change that? Oh, that's a bit better. There's people in the audience, in the chat, who've got questions about things, all sorts of things. It's not even about magic or hermetics, it's about life. And people are just in the chat are usually just really helpful. Like I haven't had too many like trolls and things, to be honest. I've had some. You're always going to get some, but so what? This is your house, this is your party. People aren't behaving, you kick them out. That's it. You know. You don't feel like you have to be hyper inclusive here. Like that's just ridiculous. You wouldn't have bad people, like people you don't want in your actual house. I treat my channel the same way. It's the same with my live streams on my live panels. Everyone that I've invited on my live panel, I want people that'll play together nicely. That's the kind of community I want to build. I don't want to build up an arena of just people heckling and trolling and all that sort of thing. That's not a good time for me. Maybe it is one day, but not right now. And so live streams are great because you get to interact with the audience, and we're just hanging out, and you can, I'll showcase some of my friends' creative works from time to time as well. I've got lots of awesome creative friends. I'd like to see more of them. One thing is that if you've got friends on YouTube, you can do collaborations, share posts and things like that. Like if they put a video up, you can share it as a post on your channel and that, and we're all kind of helping each other out, because when you meet people that you really get along with well, and they're quite supportive and friendly and all that, it's like it's like, man, we could help each other out a lot here. Collaboration is such a powerful mechanism in this space, and channels or platforms that have mechanisms set up within them to that encourage and support collaboration efforts. And I want to say Substack is one of those. Okay, that's why one of the reasons why I'm still on there is because it's just they keep adding new features because they want to help people grow. And I don't believe it's an algorithm based platform too. They just have a big pile of stuff by the category, and it just goes on rotation through the app. And it's not picked for you except for what you've already subscribed to or following, because you can subscribe to people, long form, you can follow people, short form. And so, oh, was that lightning? Let's wait. Will there be thunder? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, you set up the parameters, and you find other people who are interested, and you find people who've got around about the same number of subscribers, and just hit them up. And you like them, you want to make some new friends, and then you guys just start talking, and sometimes you might end up doing a few videos or lives together, and then you kind of go, oh, this has been good, but maybe the season of that is over for now. Like it's like I'll chat with guests, and then we'll do a video or a few videos together or whatever, and then almost we won't talk again online. We might be talking in the background, but might be a few months or even longer before we do that again. And that's fine. It's good to branch out and interact with new people. But something that I really want to stress here is that you, the person watching this, right? You are a unique person with life experience that no one else has. You have a particular set of skills and you know idiosyncrasies, if you will, and uniquenesses about you that someone's going to find really charming and interesting. You could have 100 people or even 1,000 people on YouTube talking about the same topic. How do you stand out? Just be yourself about it, right? You've got it's about your take. I actually had that said to me early on when I was talking with one of the other people in this community. Um, they laid it out pretty straightforward and said, look, it's about your take. You know how will your what is your style of delivery, and that's really where it's at. So forgive me, I want to drink the coffee while it's still hot. Not a big fan of cold coffee. So yeah, so that's the other thing, right? So finding other people, doing live streams together, or just doing pre-records, but you cross-pollinate the audiences, and that's a great way to grow. And you want to grow because you want to cross certain thresholds on YouTube and whatever platform you're on, because they unlock sort of creative benefits. They give you access to more tools and toys and things to play with. Um, the other one is I found that there's things that are that complement making videos, and one of those is you're always building out your skill sets, right? Whether you're practicing your Hermetics or your Kabbalah or your Tai Chi, whatever it is, right? But then as you get involved more in this kind of content creation process, or this I like to kind of prefer to call it value creation, right? So I'm seeking through just sheer showing up and doing stuff to extract value through me and my life experience, my vocabulary, and my skills in life and things, like I'm doing now. I'm just wanting to share what I've come across on this adventure so far. For those of you who might be interested in setting up a channel. So having you know, one, some complementary skills that are pretty much standard. You're going to have to get good at video editing, and there's some great apps out there for doing that. Yes, there's CapCut, but these convenient, easy drag and drop well, not drag and drop. That has become a little more standard. But some of these, like, okay, for example, CapCut, I believe, is still owned by TikTok. TikTok recently was banned in the US. Now, when you make a video, sometimes there is information embedded into the video, whether it's a watermark, right, or a something in the maybe in the metadata or something similar, and platforms know how to pick up on that stuff. Like, so for example, if I make a video and then I upload it to TikTok, and then TikTok will compress it and make it into a nice pretty video, I can then download it onto my phone and I can share that on other platforms, right? It's got the TikTok watermark though. Substack does the same with its little clips. Now, I've uploaded a Substack video that I then put onto TikTok and then downloaded it and put it onto YouTube. So there were two watermarks on it, and it did okay, you know. But video editing, I've started using something called DaVinci Resolve, which is apparently an industry standard video editor, and it's free. Works on Mac and Windows. So DaVinci Resolve, Resolve. It's going to take a little bit more to learn how to use it, but you become a power user because the convenience, the creation tools that are convenient. It's getting a bit warm, isn't it? The creation tools that are convenient, they are convenience comes at a cost, and sometimes you don't know what those costs are. But video editing is definitely one, and you want to keep it fun too. You want to make a nice front and a nice back on some of your videos, and maybe put a sticker on there and get people to da da da. And you just look at what other people are doing that are successful, and you just go, okay, well, let's try that out. It's, you just gotta, you find successful people and you emulate what they do, and it either works or it doesn't. And it either, you think about it afterwards. Like, I've done some things that initially I went, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, that sounds crap. Oh, I don't like the way that makes me feel. And I thought, I think I'll just try it anyway. And I did it, and I was like, it worked. And once I saw that it was successful, I was like, why did I feel like it was a bad idea? Okay, so it was good, it was a good self-reflection exercise. But some things I've done and they haven't been successful, and I was right, and so you kind of pick up on your social media, or your strategy intuition, if you will. So video editing's one. Image creation. So Canva is one you can do. There's much more powerful tools in Canva. I just use Canva at the moment because it's easy. The free version's a bit crap, to be honest. And CapCut, I think, is now pretty crap too. Like, it's CapCut. I don't want to knock it. It was very handy. Thank you, CapCut. But yeah, they're putting watermarks on stuff. Canva's pretty easy to use, and you can make some nice images and things like that. Some of the free ones are pretty good, but once you get in there, and you can afford to, you either get the paid upgrade or you go use a more powerful sort of creator tool, like like an actual sort of art program. And there's a few out there, but you're going to want to learn some of these skills just so you can get good at them fast. So it's one thing to know how to put all the stuff and organize it, but then there's also like, well, what does it need to look like? Because learning how to work the algorithm, and to be fair, I've been doing this for a bit and I'm still figuring it out because sometimes it changes, right? But the algorithm will get your video, this is YouTube, will get your video thumbnail in front of eyes. So it'll show up on people's feeds, right? Now, will they click on it? That's another thing. So getting it in front of people, oh, look, a thing. Okay, now, how do I get them to click it? You've pretty much got to make a juicy thumbnail. If they're not following you already, if they're like someone that you're just happy to follow no matter what they make, then you just click it and watch it anyway. But some of the most, some of my thumbnails, yeah, I have so many different ones. I haven't had any streamlined approach to making thumbnails. And, I'm keen just to keep playing with that. At some point, like the barred in, that's pretty much streamlined. And people know when they see it what that's about. And so, there is value to consistency, whether it's black and white or color, whether it's a big picture of you, You want to make it easy to read because most people are reading this stuff on their phones. So you like have half the thumbnail image might be an image of you. So go, oh, it's that guy, right? And then you have a very succinct piece of text, like a text box or something, and you have an encapsulation of something, and it's almost comes across as like a call to action, or you might, I mean, if you want to, you can try playing with clickbait and seeing how that works, making a bold statement, a polarizing statement, like get rich in 5 minutes. What? The audacity of this person! I can't believe they would make such a claim. I must watch this. And they'll just click it because it's like, this is ridiculous. And so they'll just click it. I mean, you can play that game if you want. But yeah, I mean, and obviously the title underneath. But I think from what I've seen, the thumbnail is going to be the thing that catches people's eyes to start with. And if you have some kind of freaky, like, psychedelic, color spectrum, that will stand out. But if people like start having, having seizures from looking at your thumbnails, then you might need to change your strategy somewhat. And I think part of this is like learning about the psychology of what motivates people as well. Like that's pretty much sales, right? Appealing to people's needs and wants and desires, their desire for transformation. And so, however, your first sort of like what people will see first will generally be like the thumbnail, right? I'm not talking about short form social media posting. That's a whole nother game, right? But on YouTube, basically, you're scrolling through and you're seeing thumbnails, 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 and the odd post as well. And it's usually going to be visual. So Instagram's another very visual sort of social media platform. So you want to cater to that. People are on there because they want to have a visual experience. And generally speaking, it's a like it's a portrait type image based thing. It's not a landscape thing on Instagram. It's portrait. It fits the phone nicely. Pardon me. So a good strategy for creating one particular or a couple of sizes. So YouTube's generally more landscape, right? But not always. And shorts, yeah. But on say Instagram and Facebook and these sort of more vertical platforms, you can make images and videos that just sit nicely on that. You know, if you've got to turn your phone around, it can be a pain in the butt. Unless the video kind of needs to be like, but this one here, like I'm just standing here, I'm just sitting here, sorry, and you're seeing this vertical format, and I could turn it on its side, but you know, you'd have to do that too, and it just wouldn't be effective. This is a more personal kind of interaction here. And so some dimensional suggestions would be squares can be good. Squares are easy because they will generally sit nicely on anything, whether you're portrait or landscape, whether you're vertical or horizontal. Squares will work. The 4:5 ratio is great because that's Instagram, that'll work on TikTok, and it'll leave a little space at the top of the bottom too. So if you're going to put subtitles on, like if you upload it to TikTok and it puts the subtitles, or on Substack and puts the subtitles on it, you've got a space there, a black space, and so it'll sit over there nicely. If you've got lots of colors and background going on in your video or your image, and there's subtitles over the top, it can be very hard to read. And so, yeah, I mean, there's just a couple of these little things that I found just to, because you want to, one of the things is, right, there's the content or the details or the conversation or the topic or the thing you're talking about. And then there's the way you present it. And so, you know, and part of that is the what we call the pipeline. And if you're constantly reinventing the wheel, like I'm gonna make a brand new thumbnail every time. Oh man, I tell you what, I spend far too long on thumbnails sometimes, especially with guests, right? And like far too long. I've been told off even. I'll probably once things get a bit bigger, I might even just find someone to make them for me. and that's fine. That's all good. But essentially, you're building a pipeline to create. You just want to be able to sit down, make the video, and then have a really easy process to make a nice little package that you can upload. And then you have your description. And I found that working with the AI has been very helpful for making succinct descriptions on things. If anything, though, I've kind of decided for myself that, and I think a lot of you would probably agree that, outsourcing your creative sort of expression through a machine, it's just fucking lazy, like, so if anything, the AI or the whatever we want to call it is a great way, because I'll write something and then I'll punch it into the chat, in chat GPT or something. I'll say, okay, make me 3 more versions of this, rewrite it, and it'll do it, and it'll come back and I'll be like, okay, I don't like any of those, but I do like the way that they've restructured it. For me, it's usually the word choice. The way that the paragraph or the sentence structure is usually quite good, but word choice, yeah, that's the part where it falls short. And so you can learn from it by you know making something and then putting it in, and then you'll find that you either like it or you don't, but you can see why it's done it how it is. And so you can find that there's sort of like, I guess, structural, literary structural aesthetics that you can learn and, incorporate into your writing. And so writing ends up becoming quite a key kind of skill. And this is something that I'm focusing on this year because everything starts with writing. I mean, there's a reason why Thoth has a pen in his hand, or a scribe stick, if you will, a stylus. But yeah, writing, being able to express yourself through the written form is a very valuable um, um, skill acquisition. So, learning about structuring, and that's really where social media, like short form social media posts, come in. But just for the long form stuff, say here on YouTube, whether it's a 2 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 20 minute, hour, 2, 3 hour videos, you know. Another thing I found really good is I do these live streams, right? So not so much these ones, but when I'm at the desk and I've got the full setup, I whether it's a guest or whether it's me, whatever. What you can do is that as the conversation starts to happen and unfold, and you find your stride, right? You've got the long form there, and anyone can just sit and watch through. Um, but what you're going to find is that there's going to be moments in that timeline that are just there's just going to be ooh, some gold, some gems, some absolute pearls and nuggets. And what you can do is that you then just chop them out, and make a short version, and then put a link back to the big video, and you're good to go. And so, you know, it's like some of the best jams I had was when I was just playing live on stage. And once you get warmed up, whew, and then you get the video footage back, and that's what you chop up. You advertise your best stuff, and people will sit through the other stuff while you're getting warmed up. I mean, you can go through every video and chop it up, but over edited stuff, I've done a fair bit of that. That's why I like doing live streams, because it's just on. Um, when you're doing a pre-record and you're just chopping things up and this and that out, yeah, there's a way to make it look good, but I think too, there's this thing about just pressing the go live button, and then there's also this thing about crafting a video, and so that's another thing on the list for this year as well. So that's pretty much it for YouTube stuff. If you just want to start building an audience, which is a skill set, you think about the number one way is just by, get 10, 20, 30 videos on your channel, just about whatever. Um, you know, do your best to be yourself, or whatever you think, you know, would be the best way to do it, because over time, you will become yourself, your authentic personality, and it will take time, because the camera. I mean, I found it when I was like playing on live on stage. Like I would step into different personalities, even sometimes by the songs. Like it's like when you're dancing to different music. Your dance changes, and sometimes you'll change your demeanor based on who you're communicating with, somewhat too. And this is, you know, don't give yourself a hard time about it. You'll find your way. You know, um, but making videos and just hitting people up. Make 10, 20, 30 videos on a YouTube channel. Get some nice graphics. Get a good presence on there. Um, you know, if you want to connect with people that you like, then you know you're going to have to sort of make stuff, that you think that might appeal to them in some ways. At least your personality, because for starters, it has to be somewhat relevant. I mean, if I'm making a channel on hermetics and I go and hit up a guy who does stamp collecting, unless I can find a sort of a connective point there, there's not really any point hitting him up. So, uh, but with the short form stuff, and this is another area, so I've got a few jobs on this year. It's good fun. The short form stuff is, writing short form posts. And I see some people writing long form posts on short form social platforms, which can work. But, you know, I think that if you write a long form post, like a newsletter type thing, like on a Substack, because they have a short form thing called Notes as well, which is like a tweet type thing, which is actually really good because you can encapsulate some of the value you can offer in your long form. So basically, your long form is almost like something you run on the side, and then just like I did with the Mark Rasmus video while I was still doing all the editing, I was just chopping up, you know, sections of that and sharing that in advance, excuse me, of the long form being released. All right, and that was generating conversation and interest, and people were like, "Oh man, are you ready to release it yet?" And I said, "No, not yet." So I just sort of let it drag on for a bit, but that's a great way to do it too, you know. Um, but yeah, the other one too is you don't always necessarily want to upload straight away or send it to public on YouTube straight away. Sometimes you want to schedule it so that it's sitting in YouTube, but it hasn't just gone out to everyone yet. You sit it in there and the schedule button, so you schedule it for the next day or the next few days, whatever, and then the algorithm will get to know it and will hopefully share it appropriately. And I have to say, I get to see on my metrics and in the back end what what other videos suggest my material, like my videos, right? And most of it is completely unrelated. I've got no idea why they thought that I would be, you know, uh, why my content would be considered, associated with some of these other things. They're just so out of left field, and it's possible that there's a little bit of silliness going on there, and that's okay. That's okay. There's you if you rely on the algorithm, you probably end up being disappointed. To be fair, you can take steps to optimize the channel, whether it's the thumbnail, whether it's the title, the descriptions, because each video has got a description and you put some data in there and you put some links in there and then you put some tags in there. But then your channel also has um, tags in that as well. And so you kind of get to know, your the ways to do this, and you end up watching a lot of videos from people who are saying, this setting will, got me 100,000 views overnight or something like that. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but seriously, like that has happened with some people, and usually it'll be on, the favored topics, which are usually, not all that necessarily uh, beneficial or nutritious. There'll be all sorts of stuff, but whatever. You watch all this stuff, and you end up watching a lot of it. But there's a lot of people who are on there on YouTube who are sharing the secrets, if you will, and they may have been really good a couple of months ago, but this month not so much, or last year. So you got to kind of keep up a little bit. So it's just like anything. Like if you're a doctor, right? Your education doesn't stop once you finish, you know, learning at the school. There's ongoing learning. It's the same with being a musician or, you know, whatever it is. This is your area of expertise, or this is part of what you do, and so, you know, If you want to have a social media or an online presence, then you learn about what's involved in that. Because if you're going to do it, you might as well do it well. Intelligent execution. I've got a friend who's got a channel and they have a lot of videos on there, but they're just not getting anywhere. And they just love getting on and making videos and having their friends on. It's like, cool, man. But they've kind of had a change of heart recently. They're like, oh man, I actually think I want to try and turn this into something that I can support myself with. So we ended up having a catch up and talking about this intelligent execution and how to make it so that it's something that's going somewhere. And one of those things is like, we can save each other a lot of time by saying, hey, look, this worked for me, this didn't work for me. And if you're on platforms with other friends who've got related niches or topics, whatever, then you can work together because there's plenty of room for everybody online. Seriously, like I said, it's not. It's going to be obviously partly the quality of your conversation, but it's also going to be your take on it, your personal take, your personality, your style, and that is quite crucial because that's what's going to set you apart. People have said to me, well, Phil, you're a good looking, blonde dude with blue eyes and all this. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I mean, I don't necessarily see myself that way, but other people say, yeah, and you're a Kiwi too, that accent. Oh my gosh, people just love listening to you talk, which is funny because a friend of mine, he told me a similar story. He got offered a job just speaking on a social media channel. He's also a Kiwi. And they just said, oh, there's a certain group in another part of the world who will just eat it up. All you have to do is we basically give you a script and you read, and that's it. That wouldn't be very fulfilling for me. I mean, it might be a shortcut, but I don't know. Like, I don't want to get caught up in that. That's just like playing a game with silly prizes. Well, yeah, I know the prizes sound pretty good, but I don't know if it's a game I want to play. I know what I like, and I like connecting with people who are into the same topics. And because I come from a background of being a trainer and a teacher and customer service, I can't sort of but help wanting to share, what I've discovered and things to, I guess, I'd like to say, I'd like to make the world a better place. And there's some truth to that. Of course there is. But yeah. All right. Well, that's that's a bit of a thing on on YouTube anyway. Now, when it comes to short form content, like writing little bodies of text and things, in a lot of cases, sometimes it's good to ask a question or that. This is probably maybe I'll do another video on this because it's nearly an hour already on this. So, but let's have a look in the chat here. So, what do we got here? All messages. What do we got? All right, so let's see. Yo, Cam, what's the topic? Nice, thanks. Hi, I'm new. What is this? What is this? Hello, Lucy. What is this? Sorry, guys. I said, like I said, I just turned the comments off when I'm doing the live stream because it's a bit distracting when I'm trying to talk. So, Will Blackett. Hello, Will. Great to see you. Will's a channel member, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you. Oh, I just want to say, everyone, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share, and all that stuff. But if anything, if you really like, what I'm up to, what I'm about, you want to go to the philrice.substack.com website and sign up for the free or the paid. It's like $5 a month subscription there, and there's articles and stuff on there that you won't find on here. And but yeah, that's the other one too, guys. If you want to build an audience, you want to get their email addresses. Because then you can stay in touch, and those people who are happy to give you their email addresses, basically they're kind of saying, well, I'm happy to have your input in my mailbox, and you've got to find a good frequency for that because some people already get inundated with emails, and so you don't want to be another person just spamming them with your stuff. So I'm kind of figuring that out too because, I don't like getting spammed in my email box, but some people want that. So yeah. Okay, Jake Ray Hypnosis. Hey Phil, what a synchronistic topic. Thanks for sharing. I'll have to rewind and catch up from the beginning. Awesome, Jake. Glad you enjoyed. Yes, um, this is where it's at. So there's a lot of professionals out there. They can see the writing on the wall with things like the AI and robots, essentially automated workers that will be replacing a lot of people, and that's going to happen more and more. And and if you're interested in, say, writing a book or making a thing or a thing that you want to sell, if you've got an audience, you've essentially got a distribution network. So that when your book does drop, you've already got an audience that's interested in that realm of information or that topic. And you can say, hey, I've just dropped a book, $5 on Kindle. And then you might find if you've got 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people on your channel, you get 100 people go in there and buy it. Awesome. But you've already got a group of people who are, you know, actively following you. Some of the largest part of my subscribers, I've got nearly 1,000 subscribers. Awesome. They, you know, that doesn't reflect in the views, you know. And then there's the amount of time that people watch. And so even though I might have nearly 1,000, that many, it's really only about that many. Some of them are following this channel because of the interviews, and some of them are following it because of me. And personally, I want to build up my following, the people that want to listen to me and hear what I've got to say. But part of the building process is you connect with other people and get them on. Like some people from this audience are going to go over to 60 Skills, or they're going to go over to the Mark Rasmus channel, or they're going to go over to Perseus or whatever, and they're going to be like, oh man, thanks for introducing me to that. Like I get a lot of that. I'm like, oh, thanks for introducing me to this person or this topic. Awesome. If we're helping each other find our way, everybody wins, right? So I've got to say, it's been about 50 minutes. It's not completely cold, but it's getting a bit warm. So, so yeah, there's a whole bunch of ways that you can start building. But, like I said, if you can see that your job security may be affected by the technological breakthroughs that are just unrolling at a crazy rate right now, then I just say this to everyone: become an entrepreneur. Figure it out. Figure out how to do it. All you need is, like I said, you can turn something that you're interested in into something that can support you. It probably will take time. Overnight successes do happen, but one thing's for sure: while you're figuring out what it is, how to do it in the way that suits you the best, just get started. Just jump on, make videos, talk about the stuff that you like. People will start showing up. Share it in Facebook groups. Find ways to make it interesting and fun and novel, and try to find new ways to sort of look at it. Find fun metaphors and allegories and all these types of things to give different angles and views on the topics. But as you are building and you're attracting more people of like, oh, this guy's interesting, I want to follow him, or press the subscribe button. They're not always going to be interested. Like I said, I got this many, but really only about this many are actually kind of like going out of their way to follow me. A great metric for that is, I've got nearly 1,000 people on here, and I've got just over 100 people on Substack. So that's like a 1 to 10 roughly, and the people on Substack have literally gone out of their way to follow me. But the open rate there, like if I'm getting, if I'm getting 100 views on one of these videos and I've got 1,000 followers, then, that's like, 10%. But on my Substack, I get, maybe half the people will open the emails. That's like 50%. And that's better. Like people are actually opening the thing. I think a lot of people in the early days, they were just keen to support, and so they went and just signed up for a Substack subscription. That's great. That's great. But it's more the newer kinds of audience members are, you can see the levels of engagement by the email address on Substack. It's actually got a lot of really good metrics on it. Another one is you can see where your audience overlaps with other creators on Substack too. That is very cool. And yeah, so, but that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to leave this video here. I can't see any more comments. And yeah, once again, always a pleasure to connect with everyone here. I'm so grateful for you all. Please go to philrice.substack.com if you want to stay updated with things that are coming along, articles and all that. And there's also a small subscription fee there as well that's you can support the channel with. And yeah, pretty easy. Have a beautiful day. Stay well. And we'll make some new videos very soon. All right. See you.